my people, I'm back. Creative Financing with JB. Hot topic. Going back on. We back with credit. Because guess what? Man, it's back at it. I know a lot of folks today seen that we had a little scare in the market with the feds doing a couple of little things. And the new office is making some power moves, as they call it, for it and stuff. But, man, we just need to stand steadfast, believe that everything's going to work out for the good. We might have a couple of little hiccups here and there, but I mean, I want y'all to brace yourself. That's why I had to come back and I had to bring my man, Reggie Adams. He'll be back on in a second, back with this credit thing. I want to emphasize so quickly to people, don't play with it. Don't play with this credit thing right now. We in some changing times right now. Understand how the value of a dollar can change this whole thing. Today, as we see that we had some folks getting nervous about the federal government closing down on some of these loans for student loans, home loans, and all that stuff going around. So if we fighting for money and our credit's bad, you know we got a problem. We have a major problem. We need to dig in, embrace what's about to happen, understand our spending, understand our credit report and what it means to us. Reg, I ain't gonna take too much time, but we gonna drop some hard questions on them today here, because they got to get prepared for this economics, and we're gonna talk a little bit about student loans.
Let's do it.
Loans. I mean, student loans. Everybody, you know, we ain't got a silver spoon in our mouth. When we go to college, we gonna need some loans, for it, and you know, and they hit our credit report. So a lot of folks think this, Reg, that once I'm in deferment, I don't have to pay the student loans, and it's okay. Can you break it down? What happens on that process a little bit?
Yeah, it's just a temporary pause. That's what this is. It's a temporary pause. It doesn't mean it's a free get out of jail card, that is all going to go away. Your fairy godmother waved her wand and there you go. No, that ain't happening.
No.
You know, when you're on a deferment, it is just the government has pushed a pause. Maybe you just got out of school within the last 6 months to a year, and you are on deferment. Why? Because they're going to give you the opportunity to find a gainful employment so that you can begin to pay that back. The only way that you get out of it, you have something called IDR, which is income-driven repayment. And the IDR is what you pay for, you sign up for, so that you don't have to pay right now, and it pushes the pause on it longer. And so what it does is, as the longer it goes, it works in your favor.
Right. And that IDR don't mean that you hold on to that repayment for the next 10 years.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's still the IDR is still not a get out of jail free card either. You know, it's just still pausing it longer beyond the 1 year that they normally give you. And so what it ends up doing is, as it's pausing every month, it's like making a payment, but it's like a virtual payment or a ghost payment. So that's what the IDR is. However, on the flip side,
Come with the flip.
On the flip side, you have so many of those that so many months in the IDR, it is the equivalent of like making a payment that you can begin to apply to have the loans expunged from your record, to have them gone. And so, but it's over so many payments before that will take place. You then have to go through the proper filing to get it done. A lot of paperwork, but it is possible. I've seen it done. Actually have a customer that it has been done for giving over $180,000 of student loans.
Right. And Red, how does that happen? Do I go and I just graduated from college or I'm out. I made 5 payments to say, yo, Reg, let me get that forgiveness going on. I mean, how do it work?
Yeah, if you're just fresh out, you got 1 year. You got 1 year because they're gonna contact your school. Your school is gonna let them know you're no longer a full-time student there at that particular establishment. And so once that's done, you then need to go ahead and begin to apply. Otherwise, what's gonna happen is you're gonna start hearing from the company saying, "Hey, buddy, you remember you got all that money for school these last several years? Well, hi, here we are. We're gonna need this money back from you." Yeah, and it's no interest, but we're gonna need this money back. However, if you don't pay it, it does accumulate an interest without payment. So this is why you need to apply for the IDR, income driven repayment. For some people, you may pay. For some people, your payment might have been $1,000, and they cut it in half for you. For others, that income driven repayment. Not only for somebody, it might have been 500, but it's 0 because of income. So just a lot of little small things, but you need to apply. Right now, the way that the government is gone, I'm gonna urge you to apply very quickly.
Very, very quickly, because we've seen some action today, and
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted that we're going to get another hold off. They're going to postpone this student loan forgiveness. Let's get out there, apply. Now, coming from a mortgage standpoint, I just want to be frankly honest with you. When I see those things on your credit report, I want 0.5% to calculate for a payment. So if you got $100,000, I want 0.5% as a monthly payment for that. That can either make you or break you in this game right now, depending on the interest rate, depending on how much cash you have. So many things that can happen. That's what's going to happen for you. As you see Reggie's number running down that line, give him a call. We really need you to catch up and get an understanding of what's going on here, because it's never too late. It's always time, but you got to have that conversation, as I always said. But we want to remember that 0.5% of that amount that you owe. So if you owe $100,000 and you're doing 0.5% of that $100,000, I'm gonna let you figure that out and calculate that to see what your monthly payment is, because that's a heavy payment on you.
Yeah,
that's almost like a car payment, or something that's very costly to you in this thing. So the student loans, jump on them. If you can find ways and you're going to college, and apply for grants, do well in school to see if we can get some of those things knocked out the way, so we won't be stuck with those type of situations that's coming through. And what's going to happen out here, because a lot of people get stuck with them, and I'm talking about $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in student loans. And as he said, the interest started accruing. Once that interest started accruing, that 100,000 can turn into 150,000 in no time.
yeah,
And then you're just on an upward where you're killing your debt to income ratio on the mortgage end. And that's what makes you kind of fall into a situation where folks will tell you you don't qualify for a loan. You're not able to do this stuff here. And when that happens, it can start being a wrap. It can start getting tough out here for the folks. Reg, and explain to them federal student loan default now. We got to give them the truth here. They don't pay. They said, forget this stupidness. I ain't paying. I ain't got the money. Ain't nothing they gonna do to me. That federal student loan default is heavy. I mean, they start garnishing, and I'm gonna let you elaborate on that.
yeah. They'll garnish your wages, can garnish your bank account, levy your bank account. So you got to be cautious about that. Don't ignore it. Don't throw it in the trash. Don't brush it off. Don't shred it as if it's not coming back. because they will email you. They're going to go through all the prompts. I'm going to highly suggest you give them a call. And for some people, maybe you work as a nurse, or maybe you work as a policeman, or you work in some kind or form of public service. And so there are all kinds of breaks that you can get because of working in public service. So I'm going to highly suggest you do it. Just reach out, but do not ignore them. Please reach out to them.
Right. First student loan debt. I mean, I think they might even hit your income taxes if
Yeah. They will hit all kinds of ways to literally try to get their money back. Whether it is, like I said, putting levies on houses, bank accounts, garnishments, whatever they can, because they want their money. The only way you get around that is you're going to actually have to file for bankruptcy, and that's the worst thing that you can do. You don't want to file for bankruptcy, especially maybe you're on a fixed income. If you would convey that, you need to call me. We need to talk. You need to call me so I can help you.
Yeah, so you can figure that out. Give them a call, 443-880-3064 is running across the screen, or you want to hit the email at newbeginningscredit@yahoo.com. Reach out so you can figure out a plan for it, because I don't want anyone in this situation and where we're at with this economy just to fall prey to what's going on. We start wondering what's going to happen, how we're going to get our credit cleaned up. All that type of stuff is going to happen. And then we're going to be in a situation where we're talking about rebuilding that credit now, stabilizing the credit right now. So we credit worthy. We're out there to get some credit cards. And, Reg, what happened with them student loans, what happened in colleges, credit cards.
They're going to build up, Johnny. They're going to build up because you know what? They will offer you the world. But those credit cards will come calling eventually. They'll come calling, and they're going to want that money back. And so now you're fresh out of college, no job. You now got student loans going to be hitting you within the year. You now got credit cards saying, hey, we need to get that money back. I had a buddy of mine who was in college, and he literally thought it was free money. He maxed out the card, and they actually came after him because they wanted their money back. So please, watch your spending. Listen, this plastic can get you in trouble, or this plastic can be a real help to you. So you choose how disciplined you are.
Right, and stuff. Somebody said I'm not a nurse or a healthcare professional right now, Reggie. I'm a HR professional. Any student loan forgiveness for me? Anybody that can help me?
Yeah, you have to check with where you're working at, because again, human resources. You have to check where you're working at. There's a list that you can go down, and it determines whether or not student loan forgiveness, but maybe you might qualify for the IDR. That they will reduce that. And so when you call me, we definitely can talk about that to get you on the right path.
Right. And if you're doing work, I think you mentioned nonprofits. That's another conversation.
Nonprofit, absolutely. Nonprofit.
You wanna call Reggie and say, hey, Reggie, I'm part of a nonprofit. How do I get this resolved? What do I need to do to make sure that I'm qualifying up under this type of situation here? So it's some questions that you probably have to have that for. How does the government determine who gets student loan forgiveness?
Well, that's good. Great question. Again, there's a criteria that you have to go through. Once you go through and fill out the paperwork, they see whether you are part of a nonprofit, whether you're working in something like, whether it is the police, the fire department, the nurses, EMS, whatever those teachers as well. Teachers qualify for it, professors. So, there's a list. And so you go through that list, you fill out the paperwork. I'm going to help you with all of that. So, that's just going to come with a conversation to know your unique situation.
And Reg, and this I hear sometimes, I'm just going to file bankruptcy and it's going to go away.
Yeah,
You know?
bankruptcy. You can file that bankruptcy. It's going to cost you. Bankruptcy is not free. So if you can file the bankruptcy, just know it's going to cost you one way or the other. And that's the only way you're going to be able to get out of some stuff is filing. However, it's going to tie your life up from 7. If you got a chapter 13, 7 years. Chapter 7, it's going to be for 10 years. So if you can hold on for a decade, you ain't doing nothing, then
Right.
hey, by all means,
And
tie your life up for a decade.
and Reg, are they gonna be washed away with the bankruptcy student loans, or?
Well, the way things are going, it's hard to say, but it wouldn't surprise me. People have been doing bankruptcies. I actually knew somebody that they said to me they were on their way to meet the attorney to get a bankruptcy, and I said, "Why are you getting a bankruptcy? You're doing okay for yourself." And the person said to me, "You don't understand." They said a lot of people at the top file bankruptcy, wipe everything clean, so they get everything free, and they keep moving. Yeah, so there's ways that people are doing things, and but we got to be cautious. Most of us, middle class, lower and middle class, don't understand how that works, and we just do it to get out of debt and then go get into more debt. But it's not debt to help you build wealth. These people are building wealth.
Right. And
There is a difference. There is a difference.
You filing, get out of a situation. They filing to gain a situation.
Absolutely, they following the game because they building wealth. What we're trying to do is just we on the run. We're escapees.
and keep running and stuff.
Yeah,
And that stuff hinders on your credit. So when they're evaluating you, they see it.
yeah,
It's like a
they're
bad
seeing.
report card.
Yeah, they're seeing whether or not you're worthy to get anything. But the great news, Johnny, is this: there's 3 different lawsuits going on right now. You got the credit bureau itself being sued right now. You've got Experian and Equifax being sued right now. You've got you've got Capital One got a few issues going on right now, and so a lot of these companies got into some trouble because it was number one, it was data breach. So you're hearing about data breaches all around. You might be owed some money, believe it or not. I even got a check. Wasn't a big check, but a check is a check. $40. Hey, we'll take it. Your data's been leaked from various places, and then on top of that, you've got these bureaus that were not properly doing what they were supposed to have been doing. And so because of that, they weren't properly investigating. This is why the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, try saying that 3 times. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau now stepped in and said, "Hey, you ain't been doing your job. So now we're gonna now sue you for not doing your job." And so now some people are now saying, "Hey, what do I do? This is the best time to get your credit done." Because some things were done illegally. They were sending stuff back saying verified, verified, no change. But you're up against the computer. You're up against the machine. Have you ever seen the Matrix? You were up against the machine, and the machine is called E-Oscar. It's called E-Oscar. And so you just have to know how to maneuver because E-Oscar was waiting. You sent the dispute. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't dispute online on their site.
Right.
Please. I dispute it. Don't do that again. And so E-Oscar looks for these various things. It's not really cyber attacks. It is all these kinds of things. It's called the dark web. I'll give you that one for free. It's called the dark web. And a lot of times your information is on the dark web. How do I know? I was a victim of the dark web before I had to go in and block my file so that nobody could get it. I was actually sitting at home, and somebody in my bank was like blowing my phone up saying, "Hey, are you at the pet store buying $300 worth of pet food?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I'm home." It was on the weekend. And so we ended up blocking the card. They couldn't get anything. The police was called to try to get there. That then person had my card number went to McDonald's buying $50 worth of food, but it was blocked.
Wow.
But however, at the same time, they had sent it to a friend in California, and they was at the convenience store trying to buy food there too. So listen, you're not careful. Your information is on the dark web, and you need help to get your information off the dark web. Gotta have the help. So with all of that being said, with the bureaus going in, you're sending in these things saying, hey, this ain't me, or hey, I didn't do this, and they're coming back saying it's verified, it is you. There are all kinds of ways that what was happening, and CFPB says, listen, enough. You were not investigating. You were sending it through the computer. The machine was scanning, looking at verbiage, and then sent it back. Says, verified, but they didn't do anything. They didn't do their job. So that's where we come in to catch them.
I had my credit information sold twice at a store, and that happens for when they put those things. You hear about those scammers where they put over the ATM machines or whatever, and you put your card in, and they get all your information. And
we're in that day that you actually need to be tapping now. It's hard to get your information with a tap. I just heard of a situation. Somebody went into, or two situations. Somebody went into a gas station, got the information, and somebody was trying to, but like 2 minutes before they left, they was trying to swipe $150 off their card. Well, another situation is somebody got, we get these calls like, hey, you missed jury duty. Hey, you owe some money. You're gonna go to jail, and people get nervous. They frazzled behind it. What do I need to do to stay out of jail? Well, you need to give $1,000 for the fine. That'll keep you out. Wire it to this place. And people were getting information. One person got scammed out of $10,000.
Wow.
True story. And that was just within the last 30 days.
Wow. And they had that IRS scam. It's so much going on out here with that. And you said something important about the tap. The tap, you starting to see that a lot at these stores where you can tap your card for it. And, I was at the gas station. They said, nah, the tap don't work. You got to insert it and stuff.
If you got to insert it, we got to go. I'm going to suggest you go inside to pay for your gas instead of paying for it at the pump, because they're putting these things on it to read the strip. When you stick your card in, it's reading that strip on the back of your card. So the tap is a little bit more encrypted, that it's hard to get that when you are tapping your card. I'm always going to say, especially when you're getting gas and maybe you got a credit card, use your credit card, because it's hard to get money off the credit card if the crooks get it.
Right. Tell us about these online shopping where, we come up and we start noticing stuff on our credit report and we're like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, that still goes back to the dark web. It goes back to the dark web where people are getting your information. You got to be careful. Do your research. Don't just look at the reviews that's on that actual web page, but go into the Better Business Bureau. Go in on Google and search and see what the reviews are. I like reading. I don't read the 5 stars alone. I always go down to the 1 stars. I want to see what somebody says. And so when you start doing that, you're protecting yourself, because listen, your credit is gold. It's not the money that you have. It's not the cash. Years ago, we walked around with a wad of cash in your pocket. We don't walk around with cash anymore. Cash is in the bank now, because the bank will insure up to a certain amount of money if you get scammed out of some money. But of course, it may take a while before you get it. But do your due diligence about that. But I will highly suggest that before you purchase, a lot of times I would suggest that you go through a PayPal, go through something like that, because at least if there's an issue, they will go get your money back.
And tell us, Reg, we see not to change the subject, but on a credit report, and people might not read it, it's have that 30, 60, 90.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll say 130, 160, and I seen 32, 90 days. How is that interpreted? right
Yeah.
there.
So when you got 30, 60, 90, you missed the payment. Say you had a credit card and you missed the payment. You have 30 days. If you missed 5 days, that doesn't warrant it goes on your report. So don't have a fit. What it does, it lowers your standings with that company, but it ain't going on your credit. So you may have a late charge. However, 30 days and 60 days and 90, and it can continue to keep going. If you have an issue, I will highly suggest that you reach out to the company. Most of the time, they will give you a one-time forgiveness. They will give you a one-time forgiveness because of the climate that we're living in, with all the things happening going on in the banking industry, with people trying to get your information. The right company will work along with you and say, "Hey, we just put your payment on the end of the loan." That's if you got a good credit card company or something that you're working with. Other than that, I'm going to highly suggest that you call these people immediately when you cannot make the payment, and they'll pause your card. You won't be able to use the card, but at least you'll be able to make a minimum payment so that you can keep in good standings.
But can I have more 90 days late than 30 and 60 days late?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can have more 90-day lates because again, every month that you do not pay, it's accumulating. It just starts accumulating on. It starts compiling on that 90 days. So you really want to watch that. Again, your credit is gold, and you want to make sure that you're paying high attention to it.
Yeah, because sometimes we see on there 2 times 30 days late, 2 times 60 days, but we'll see 10 or 12 times 90 days late.
Yeah.
And people say, how am I late more on 90 days than 30 and 60?
Yeah. So you was late. You didn't pay the first 30-day payment. You somehow missed that 60. They're gonna compile that. And then every time you miss, it's another 90 days on top of that.
Oh, so 90 days keep calculating
It keeps calculating.
and stuff and go from there. And this is a big question. When should I pay my credit cards? Should I pay them on the due date or the statement date, or so they can report on time? How does that work?
Yeah, I would suggest you paying it on the due date. If it's on the first, pay it on the first. Set it up. Listen, this is what I'm going to say. I myself personally didn't like to do it. I like to always handle it, and I'll send you the money. But then there were days that I would forget. So I'm gonna suggest that you set it up on automatic pay. Because guess what? If you want to stay in good standings, you're gonna pay it regardless. So set it up on an auto draft. That way, you never have to worry about that payment being missed, and never have to worry about getting. Because watch this. There's two things that happens. You're going to get a 30-day late if you miss it, but you're also going to get a payment where it's going to a late fee. It's going to be charged, so you're going to get hit twice. But this is going to last for at least 2 to 3 years if you continuously do not pay that card. So you're talking about not just it hurting you for the moment and you got by, but you're talking about something that's going to consistently keep doing the exact same thing over and over. And you're going to be paying for that card over and over for the next couple of years.
So should I pay, if I pay on a due date, will it take another 30 days for it to reflect on my credit versus paying on the statement date?
No, if you pay on the actual due date, it will reflect that day. Normally, it reflects within 24 hours or less. And when it reflects right before your 30-day calendar hits, you will be fine because it shows that you've made your monthly payment. You've satisfied the debt.
So the creditor don't report on the statement date when they send you the new statement. Is that accurate? Or
yes, they're going to report. So if your payment is due on the first, most credit cards are reporting. Of course, it's still always 30 days. So sometimes it's around the 15th or the 30th. So as long as you're making your payment, even if you made it 2 or 3 days late, it's best to still have it done within a 30-day cycle.
Yeah, because some people say I'll pay on the statement date so it can reflect when it hits my credit report, and they can see those changes for that. And
yeah.
And I told him, well, that's a good question to kind of look at. When is it reporting to the credit bureaus, or when does that creditor make sure that the bureau knows that I paid my bill?
Yeah, I'm still gonna suggest that you set up on an auto draft. Too much is going on in your life. You're trying to remember the kids' birthday.
Mhm.
You're trying to remember spousals' birthdays. You're trying to remember when you got to go and take your medicine. You got a
Mhm.
bunch of stuff trying to remember.
Right,
Set it up on auto draft. Set it up on auto draft. That way, on that account, you never have to worry. Keep the money in the bank, and that way the bills come out automatically, and you never have to remember, because the worst thing to do is to set yourself back when you're trying to build to go forward.
yeah. That's all. That's awesome to know, for because it just takes one time.
Yeah.
For those payments to hit and miss, and especially a mortgage payment. You miss a mortgage payment, you're going to lose a lot of points.
You're going to lose a ton of points. So, a lot of times it is even setting up your mortgage. Right now, the best thing to do on everything is set it up. And so you kind of know if you have an issue. Then at that point, you need to be making some phone calls. But until then, if you got steady income, I'm going to suggest that you set everything up on auto draft, and you never have to worry.
Right, and that's key. So we talk about managing your credit, making sure that you're making those payments on time, making sure that the bureaus are reflecting those payments, and understanding your credit report. We start in a new year. Everybody should have a copy of their credit report,
Hmm.
right? And how often should we have a copy of our credit report so we can review it?
You should at least be looking at that report on a monthly basis. Right now, free annual credit report.com will give you your report every 7 days. They'll give you one report it used to be every 7 days. Well, they'll give it to you once a month. Once a month, you can look at your report for free once a month. All you got to do is go to freeannualcredit.com. That's freeannualcredit.com.
Right.
And they'll give you your report one report free per month.
And what should we be looking for in that report? That stands out.
Yeah, what you want to look at, that's not going to give you scores. So when you go to freeannualcreditreport.com, it's not going to give you your scores. It's going to give you a snapshot of what your credit looks like. It's going to give you the accounts. You want to make sure that the addresses are proper. You want to make sure that there are no fraud alerts on your report, because fraud alerts on there sometimes are on your report. And you want to make sure that they're not. You want to make sure that your accounts are reporting correctly. There are some accounts that sometimes wouldn't be reporting for whatever reason, where there's a glitch in the system. You need to be aware of everything, making sure the addresses are correct, making sure that you don't have, because sometimes you can even have collections and didn't even know you had a collection.
Oh, wow. Will they give you all three reports?
Well, when you go to freeannualcreditreport.com, they will give you all three. You got to go through the prompts and the security questions to get into them, but they will give you all three of them.
And stuff, and keep them and let them stay updated and let them stay accurate and make
Yeah.
sure
Now,
you
I
don't have.
will say this: if you look on it once and you see it, but maybe you paid off a credit card the next week, and you says, "Hey, I went back and it's not showing it." It's not going to report, but once a month. Once a month is going to report on that report. So you'll look back on next month and you'll see it that it's updated as paid in full or paid down, whatever the amount, but it will not show that you've paid it in full on that very day.
Mm, wow. And those credit reports, are they free every month if you get them, or?
Yeah, they're free. You get one per month and it's free. All you have to do is go to freeannualcreditreport.com, fill out the information, and you get one free per month. There's no charge. That it'll show you from the actual depot. Please do not go to creditkarma.com. expecting accuracy. Please do not. Please do not. You always wonder why there were so many credit bureaus. There are 3 of them because they are in different parts of the country. Equifax is let's start at the top. TransUnion is in the Pennsylvania, New York area. It's all up in that round in that area. That's TransUnion. You go down south in Atlanta, you got Equifax, and you go west, you have Experian, Allen, Texas. That's where they're based out of, is Allen, Texas.
And what's the purpose of that? You know, people say, what's the purpose of having 3?
Yeah,
they all should be the same.
Yeah, it's various things. Some bureaus, some creditors pull for different things. Some people are going, if they're looking for cars, they'll pull from Equifax. If they're pulling from cars, generalizations, they'll pull from Equifax and TransUnion, because Experian pulls from a different bureau for different reasons. Most people don't pull from Experian. But they do pull from all the other 2 bureaus. Just all depends on what you are going after and where they are pulling their info from.
Wow. So you were saying cars are usually pulled with Experian?
Equifax. Cars are pulled with Equifax, and the different FICOs. There's various FICOs that they're pulling from as well. Right now, you'll see FICO 8. And most people are pulling from FICO 8. So you'll get a chance to see where they're pulling from. Mortgage companies, they're pulling not just from 8, but they're pulling from other FICOs as well. So, but you've got, the 3 bureaus, and it's important that you check all 3.
For this, and break this down. We got the FICO 2, the FICO 4, the FICO 5,
5, 6. You got 8, and now they just had 10, which has the different FICOs. Just depends on, again, where you're pulling from, what your need is, because you can go look at your FICO in one area, it can be low, and you look at another area and it's high, and you wonder, how did I get that? You got it. You said, hey, it was a wing and a prayer. It really was, but they looked at a whole nother FICO to get it. So just depends on where they're pulling it from. Most companies are pulling from the 8. Very, very seldom do you find the companies pulling from various FICOs.
Why are they different? For what reason?
Yeah, again, it's whether it's like for mortgages or whatever, it's just a dedicated pull from that one. And so they're pulling from there, a dedicated place that they're pulling it from. Whether it is like cars, most cars are pulling from a dedicated space than just the general public. They kind of want a more in-depth look, to kind of look behind the scenes.
So you said 10 is the latest version right now.
10.
10 is, so I mean, what's the difference between 10 and 8? Is not 8 a updated version, or?
Well, 10 is a dedicated one. It's, I think, if I remember correctly, please don't quote me on this, I think 10 might have been mortgage, but it's a dedicated one that you're pulling from. And so whether it's the mortgage companies would use 10. And so they're going to pull, which is going to give them an in-depth pull of all the ones down the line, and they're going to see it all. That's why you'll be like, I had that tax lien 10 years ago. It ain't on my report anymore. How'd you see it? Because we did a 10. Oh, yeah. So that's what happened, is because we did a 10 and we did a down sweep and saw it all. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So 10 is going to pull more than a 5, 4, 8, and
it's going to pull it all. You're going to see all pull. So just depends on what, who that company is, and how they're pulling their reports.
Right. That's interesting, because and that's something that people's like, oh man, that should have been done with, and why is that still looking at me? I thought it can wash away after 7 years. You hear that a lot, right? I mean, it's past 7 years. Why it's not going away now?
Yeah, so some things can be from 7 to 10 years. Like certain bankruptcies are 7 to 10. Certain debts, I'll give you a good one. Certain collection companies, you say, hey, it was on here for 7 years, it can drop off. But if they call you, you answered the phone, you spoke to them, you just increased it 3 more years. So you got to be cautious about answering different calls, especially when you don't know laws, when you have no help. It's the equivalent of going into a court system to fight a speeding ticket by yourself. You might need a lawyer. You might need somebody that knows the law to help you get off that.
Right.
And so you'll give them a verbiage. When you give them that verbiage, they can't call you anymore because they're blocked. And if they call you, you can at that point pursue legal ramifications.
So, folks, you see that we have Reggie's number floating at the bottom here, 443-880-3064. Also, New Beginnings Credit at yahoo.com. Give them a holler. Try to figure out your situation. Get yourself stabilized. We're in a movement right now that stuff is happening. Things are coming back. Programs being shut down. We need to make sure that our credit is on the up and up. You know, we can't go out there halfway, as I said. That we get these shocking news when we go to apply for cars and cards and mortgages, and we're stuck there. You know, this creative financing with JB.
Johnny,
I want to make it happen.
Can I throw this in here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you this one for free. I'm gonna charge you for it. If you were previously married and you no longer married, you've been divorced 1, 2, 3, 4 years. You moved on, they did. Well, guess what? You're still joined credit-wise. So let's say you got good credit, he had bad credit. Well, he could be pulling off of your good credit because your accounts are still connected to him. So it's still showing on his report. So every time you make your payment on your credit card, you just made his credit go up and stay nice. You keep wondering, how does he keep doing what he's doing? How she keep doing that? Because you're still connected.
Right. Still connected.
So until you go in and have that disconnected, you might be helping your spouse in more ways than one. A former spouse.
More ways than one. You're still connected. Y'all got that tidbit right there to take you to that next step. But, you know, keep in mind that you still have to protect what you're doing out here. You're spending, your habits of credit card usage, all those things stand out right now today, for especially in the home buying situation, to where you believe you know where you are, what you should be working on, how you should get to the next level, and you have not taken the steps necessary to get that all situation out. Give Reggie a call, 443-880-3064. Reggie, I'm gonna hit you with this one. I have waited my 7 years. That's supposed to be off. I'm going to dispute it, and they haven't removed it. Why does that happen all the time? You know.
See, that's so number one. That's a bad thing because you dispute it. It comes back verified. You just bought yourself several more years for this to stay on your report. Number two is that it's now showing that you did this and it didn't move. So now any creditor is saying, "Wow, you disputed this and it's still sitting there." So now it's looking bad because now you got this that's going to sit on there for the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. And what you're not trying to do is continue something.
Yeah.
What I always say was Rome wasn't built in a day. You didn't get into the situation overnight. You need somebody to help you get out. I'm your guy that's going to help you get out. So you need somebody to help walk you out that knows how to walk you out. You can say, "Hey, I'll try it on my own." Cool, great, try it. When you finish with that, call me.
Give it a shot, huh?
Yeah, go ahead and give it a shot. Let me know how that work out for you. And if it
Let's talk
doesn't work
about
out,
this.
call.
Let's talk about this business credit.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting to the point. Hey, I'm managing. I'm 750. I need to learn how to get business credit. I need um, that number for my business credit. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Dun and Bradstreet.
I need my Dun and Bradstreet right now. I need my Paydex score.
Yeah, paydex score.
you know, um, do I just go out there? How do I even get into that game? For
Yeah,
it.
so a lot of this is that you have to now go and pull your DMB. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur and build your company, so that you don't have to always use your actual credit, your personal credit, then you need to get your credit built on your business side. Which that's something that we do as well, a service that we provide to go in to build your business credit, because your business credit doesn't have a score, it doesn't have a number score, it has a letter grade. It has a letter grade. And so what you want to do is to make sure that your letter grade is registering somewhere hovering between the B and the C. When you hit that A, it's because you've been in business for years, you're operating, you're functioning at a certain high capacity. But you want to make sure that you're building that business credit. Once you build that business credit, some companies will still use you as a co-signer for your own business. And so you'll use that for a while until you're establishing credit, and then you want to separate it all. So you want to go LLC so that it does not, your business does not be attached to anything to you personally, but it stands on its own as an entity.
Oh, wow, wow. So how long does that separation take? From my business to my personal and going back around.
Yeah, as long as you're building that credit, up. It shouldn't take that long. But so as you are going through building the credit, adding different lines of credit to it, it builds your credit so that you can then step away. When you give your number, you're not giving your actual social to go along with it.
Mm. And at I done did this 2 years. Now can I buy stuff in just my business name or?
Yeah, as long as your business has different lines, trade lines that is working, trade lines. So for some people, it's a gas card, because they're buying gas for the company. Others is supplies, well, there's cleaning supplies, and there's all kinds of things that help you with that. I'll give you another one, kickoff. Kickoff is
Mm,
one thing that helps you as you're building your business, and so even as you're building your personal, so it's just various different things that will help you as you are building different trade lines. They will help you.
mhm. And we see kickoff a lot now. What is kickoff?
Yeah, it's something that they've started in the last several years that helps the consumer. You pay somewhere around $25 to $35 in. You pay it for a particular time. After you pay this for a particular time, they will in turn, then some of them will return your money to you
Mm.
because you're paying. It's your money. They're just
Mm.
reporting it to the bureau. They're reporting it to the bureau.
Oh, okay. So kickoff is
Yeah, it's meant to help you build credit to boost scores up. That's what it's meant. It's meant to boost scores.
wow, wow. That's good to know. And also tell us, people get these lines of credit to build a personal credit up and hoping that when they build it up, I'm up right now because I got this trade line sitting there. Now I'm gonna get my business credit. Is that feasible to operate in that manner or?
Yeah, well, you got the trade line that somebody, put it on your report. Yes, you can add trade lines, and that's something else that we do too. We can add trade lines. However, trade lines are not meant to sit there forever. Trade lines only sit there, at least the trade lines that we will place on you, only sit there from 3 to 4 months, because the goal is to get you off of the bottle and get you on to drinking your own stuff out your own cup. right? So it's to get you your own credit card, to get you where you have the score enough to obtain the credit card, and then have the trade line drop off, and then you continue to build with the credit card that you were able to obtain.
Wow. And that's good. So, folks, we know if y'all got some authorized trade lines out there and, it's sitting there, make sure you're getting yourself together. Make sure you're establishing that credit so, you don't have to call Reg, I need another 3 to 6 months, for that, because those things are there to enhance and put you to the next step of your credit. We talking about some credit issues here, folks. We talking about if you stuck in some situations, you need some consulting, give Reggie a call, 443-880-3064, or just drop him an email, newbeginningscredit@yahoo.com. I know it's a hard task. Sometimes we don't want to face it. We don't want to deal with the issues, but at some point in time, we got to deal with them. We have to be able to stabilize and have a savings in hand so we can continue to live a decent life. We have to have some reserves on hand that we can go back and say, yo, if X, Y, and Z happen, I still have money to operate. I still can live out here. Because when times get rough and we start running into these situations here, we started thinking outside the box. And outside the box might not be legal.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to get folks to think legal and people do for desperate times, it's desperate measures, but we don't want y'all to get to that point. We want to enhance and equip you with the opportunity to stabilize where you are. Start working on stuff that needs attention. Start doing things that are important so you can keep growing. And once that happens, everything starts to change. Everything starts to change. Reach out to Reggie. Start talking about plans of action of how I'm going to get to that next step. If your credit's good now, let's talk about business. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. Let's talk about expanding on that so you can grow and you can feel comfortable. If you done had some short hiccups here, you done went through some bad decision making, it's okay. We all have them, but guess what? We don't have to stay in those situations no more. We have resources out here that provide you with what we need to get to the next step of the process. And don't look bad on it. Just take it as a lesson learned. Take it as something that we can take to the next step of growing. When I do your mortgage, when I do your investment property, I want to know you're in good hands. I want to know that you're in good shape financially, because for us to do business and for us to expand the business and keep growing, we have to be able to go to the next step of stabilizing our credit. Our credit is our worth. You hear people worth a whole lot of money because they have stabilized their credit. They have reached a mark where they don't have limits on credit cards. They can just go and keep swiping and swiping, because guess what? That bank has a history of them paying their bills. They have a history of recovery from bad situations. And guess what? They have assets. This builds assets for you. We still at the beginning of the year. We can still start saving money. We can start doing things that gets us to the next step. But folks, don't sit back and just watch and woe is me, oh man, I didn't mean to do it. They should forgive me. Reggie, I'm calling you because you know what? That's my first time. I've been doing good with them for 3 years and they shouldn't do this to me. This is business, folks. This is business. This is how people run the business. This is how they make profits.
Nothing personal. This ain't personal.
It's nothing personal. I mean, they still like you.
Yeah.
They still like you. They probably love you because they get to make a little bit of more money than they would. But guess what? You don't have to give them that opportunity to feel like they taking advantage. You take advantage of your situation. You grow your business and your net worth. And guess what? Don't stand back and think that it's going to happen overnight. Reggie just told you it takes time. You didn't do it in one day. It took you a while to do that. If you got those student loans, don't play with them. Address them, as Reggie said, call them. Let them know that, hey, I'm in a situation here. I ain't making enough money to pay y'all exactly that amount, but I want to pay y'all something, and be honest about it. Reg, how many times you got people, you got to look at them and you see their income and they can afford what they're supposed to be doing.
It's countless. But here's the thing: we don't steward our money well, and that's the problem. We don't steward our money well. For whatever reason, maybe you grew up and you just lived off of your check. But if you learn how to steward your money a little better than you have, you can build wealth. You say, hey, I'm barely scratching to get by. Yeah, well, but if you got some bad habits, maybe you got a smoking habit. How much is that costing you per pack? How much is the vaping stuff costing you? So, hey, I ain't here to judge you. I ain't here to judge you. I'm just saying, if you're trying to get ahead, maybe your habit is a little too expensive. Maybe your taste is too expensive. You like Ruth Chris, right? Well, maybe you need to take it down a notch. Go to Outback. Take it down another notch. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Take it down a notch. Don't go out to eat. Instead of going out 5 days a week, try 1 day a week. Save some money. Build a little wealth till you can get out of your situation and get in a different bracket. I promise you, if you get into a different bracket, they treat you differently. When I was like bad credit, I went into a place to buy a car. The man came back and laughed and says, "Why are you here?" He straight laughed in my face. "Sir, why are you here?" So I said, "I don't understand. What's funny? I'm trying to buy a car." He was cracking his side. He said, "Man, you can't even get nothing on with a lollipop. I wouldn't even give you nothing with a lollipop." I was hot. The credit guy, helping everybody else, but didn't help myself. Help myself. Got myself in a different tax bracket. I was upset. I said, "I'll never be here again." Got myself in a different tax bracket. When I went to go and purchase a car, I walked in baggy jeans, hoodie. It was like, "Sir, we'll get to you." I said, "Okay, you don't want no business." It's like, "Oh, come on, what you looking at?" I said, "Hey, what kind of car you got?" He said, "How about that one up on the transport?" "Oh, sir, that's a little expensive one. That's the one I want." "Oh, you got money?" "Sir, oh, we'll run your credit. Don't need you to do that." Why? I walked in here with a check.
That's it.
My bank gave that to me. When I talked like that, they said, "Oh, I went from Joe Blow to Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams, thank you so much for coming in. Hey, would you like something? Hey, y'all get Mr. Adams." It's a whole other ball game. "Hey, you want to sign this paperwork?" I said, "What paperwork I signed?" They said, "Don't worry about it. Take the keys and go home." How am I gonna sign the paperwork? We'll FedEx it to the house.
That's it.
So listen, what am I saying? It's a different tax bracket. When you get in, credit wise, they treat you different. You get treated differently than when you are sitting there hoping with your family, little kids, and hoping, can we get a car? No. Let me straighten myself out. I'm not going in here begging for a car. I'm going in here telling them which one I want.
That's it. That's it.
I'm out.
Tell them which one you want, where you walking out. Y'all know the number, 443-880-3064. New Beginnings Credit at yahoo.com. Reach out, folks. We are ready for you to take that next step. I'm ready to put you in that house where you can call your own shots. I'm ready to put you in a situation to invest to where you can extend and do what you want to, where you can let them know, yo, I don't want you to escrow nothing. I can pay my own escrows. I pay my own tax, my own insurance. Those are statuses that we want in this day and age. Folks, we ain't going to hold you up no much longer. Reg, man, I thank you again.
Hey, I appreciate it.
You know, this ain't the last time, but we got to keep people starting the year off, getting them focused. We've seen some things happen today. I thought it was perfect timing with our economy to see where we're going and get it going. Creative Financing with JB, man. We'll see you next week. Welcome to February as we see you, and we're going to get it done. Y'all have a great night.